Anybody who, in general, don't leave dead bodies, please. There's a whole Grayson Park out there that you could leave them in. It's not necessary. That's first of all. Oh, thank you so much. Like I said, one correction, one very important correction. It's a big aside. If you should never take halachic advice from somebody who's being Machal Shabbos. It's not the person that you should, So also you shouldn't take it. I wouldn't get the Perushay Torah from somebody who's a Chilayni, especially if it's against Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Also, you have to know who to ask your shilas to. So the person the other day that he told me about the cup, I told you, what did he tell me? He told me that who's the one that matters to put these cups together. Who did I say? Who? Rosh Shabbos. My side looked it up inside because it's Taka. It was such a pellet to me that and Taka, he doesn't say anything of the sort. He says it's usher. Taka says it's usher. So, that's an ashtar. Taka says it's usher. He says usher. So I want to just be moida that nobody should. I very much hope that you didn't cross it out. If you crossed it out, then you have a big problem because you didn't read it. I went to mine to go and cross it out, and then I read it, and then I saw it says exactly. So I wrote next to it, Mitsuyan. Mitsuyan. It says Mitsuyan. You got it. I saw he has a whole shtickle there about the shots, about the injections. And okay, so the injections, we saw the very stud, and he's nighted more to the tzadakula. Okay, but that's already an old fight, and we'll leave it like that. That's number one. So the disposable cups, I really don't know anyone who is makel. Now the truth is, I don't see any tzad to be makel yesterday. Well, yes, yesterday I gave like a limitzchus. I don't even know if there is a limitzchus anymore because it's a very shver zach. It's very shver zach. I'm gonna. Actually, one more thing I want to tell the olam. I never say chidushim. I think that's known over here. I might just say a thought. Just one thing here. I want to show you another makor. Today, I saw another makor to the fact that it's all over the place. It's just at least one of the Mefershim Mishnah One of the Mefershim Mishnah is that Makeh B'Patish is even on something which is a one-time usage. In other words, something which is really going to be used and then thrown out. Now, I'll just give you an example, like a paper airplane. Like a paper airplane, it's not like a paper helicopter or something. You make like these paper things, right? So what's that? It's a one-time usage. You make this paper helicopter and then you throw it or whatever. And what do you think? What do you think? Such a thing should be mutter, aser, it should be patish. It's a one-time usage, it has a usage. And it's a one-time usage. Where's the makor to such a thing? One-time usage that you're going to wind up now. When I say one time, I mean, it's oimid to be thrown out. So the truth is, there's something over here, which we would all hope is oimid to be thrown out. Over here, the Mishabura, the last Mishabura, in Kimat, the longest simon in Ilchus Shabbos, one of the longest simon of all Mishabura, in the 152nd sif, in Siman Shin Kav Ches. Here it's mamish like the end, the last words of here. He talks about Mashoisim. The Shulchan Aruch is talking about some like man-made, homemade enema, because the person has like a problem, and then he has to widen the hole a little bit. That's discussing in Ilchus Shabbos. You're allowed to widen the hole where the tzaya comes out from. So the Shulchan Aruch says. He says, "Also lasim psila bepitabas." You're not allowed to put. They used to put something in there, kederech shoisim, and it would open up the area. Okay, why you're not allowed to do this? It has to do with either with medicine or it has to do with you're going to bleed, whatever. Not our sugi right now. But the Mishabur brings down. He says, but if you do it benachis. If you do it with nachis, not with aggressiveness and etc. So then the Mishabur, the Shulchan Aruch brings down that that's okay if you do it with a shinoi and whatever. Okay. So the lawyer, and then it's not going to come to pull out hair and whatever. So the Mishabur brings down over there, Kol zeh maya asuya me erev Shabbos. This is all. If what was he spending his erev Shabbos doing? He was making homemade enemas, right? I think that's what's called enema, right? But he says, but let's say erev Shabbos. He was, Toya Mea, and that's why he's in this matzah giving. Avalas says Shabbos Apsila, but there he is on Shabbos. He goes and he wants to make this man-made enema on Shabbos. So then Mishabura says that's aser. He says Avalas says Shabbos Apsila. Be near, even if you take a piece of paper. Yesh by Iser deraisa b'makeh b'patish. Now I ask you all. We're going to be mature about this. Is it reusable? Yeah, I don't think so. You're not going to reuse it, right? What? He's not reusing it. He's certainly not reusing this thing. He's going in and he's probably going to throw it over there with the other smell, right? But he's not reusing this thing. So besides, this is mamish the clearest raya, because in the other places, Mishabur maybe doesn't say the word deraisa, then that's why it's a little bit more aggressive. Over here, he's talking about taking a piece of paper and making it into what? It's a pelatic mice, if you think about it. All he's doing is he's just fashioning it in order that it should be able to widen a hole. So this is a very interesting application of this. This has to give you a tzitr. This has to give you a pacha. That means anything that you fashion for the purpose of using. What's he doing, Sachakol? He's just like taking a piece of paper and he's, twisting it, and he's gonna, it's a pelletic maisa. I imagine if you think about this, give me one moment. I imagine you can think of like other examples of things that are. What do you have an example? Oh, start thinking of all types of examples. They have these like, what are they called? Earplugs and things like that, like you squeeze them into a certain, I don't mean the ones that just like puff up into shape and things like, those like spongy ones. I mean, sometimes you have one that you just like, you have this like größer ear, and you put it in there, and if it's your specific ear, you have this little tiny little ear and you put in yours, right? And that's a one-time thing. In addition, it might be mamreach issues. I'm just saying, but there's a million things like this. There's a million things. What? No, but the cotton wool is just there to block. He's not fashioning it. He's fashioning it? Sorry? That's pretty scary. Wow, he fashions the cotton wool to a specific hole. I'm not convinced that that's this. Here we're talking about that he's taking a paper to make to a certain like surah, a kli, in order to open up the hole. He's using it to open the hole. There he's just trying to stup it in. I'm not convinced that he does. Maybe take a look. It's important for me to know. What? I know, just pretend. Okay, now I'm unmuted. Now everything's good? Okay, say that. Okay. I'm sorry, we just had like a dead animal here. It's fine now. Everything's fine. Akapanim. So like this, Rabbi say. I keep getting asked this question. Rabbi say, a folding chair, let's say was never opened before on Shabbos. You go in to go to Mike's Net, you buy a folding chair, you open it up for the first time ever. That's not Makkah Patish, because the creation of the chair is already here. But it was never a chair, nobody ever sat, doesn't matter. The chair, all the part, that is what this is. It is a chair that is in its place, in its position, and then it has the ability to open and close. That is the chefse. The chefse is shein gemach. They have these, let's say, toothpicks, right? One example, they have like these toothpicks that are folded into themselves. You know, I'm talking about the fancy people one that have like a floss on one side, on the other side they have like the toothpick, the other side they can like shave. You know what I'm talking about? They have like a whole matzav going. So you open it up. What does it mean you open it up? It's already made. You're not doing anything. It's all there. You're just unfolding it. Unfolding is not makkah that we never found. If you have, just a moment, they have these forks that I was being asked yesterday that come in these manach haba. That you just unfold it and you make it into a fork. What do you mean you make it into a fork? It was there. The fork was there. It's just right now it's folded. Unfolding is an issue. Sorry, they come together. They come separately. Okay, that could be an issue. They come separately, like what? The handle and the prongs. That could be okay. That could be an issue. I'm not that could for sure be an issue. That could be an issue. They have something here. He's talking about a spork. That spork, isn't that? Was a Twilight Zone? What's a spork? But what does it do? I'm saying what? Huh? No, but I'm saying, but what is it? No, but what am I doing? Am I doing something? I just unfolding. Okay, so that's mutter. Okay, mutter. Okay? A plastic. I mean, he's taking the one of the prongs, and he's bending the prong of the fork. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. What is that exactly? What is that? What did he make over here? What is? I mean, yeah, but it wasn't oimid lahachis. Yeah, but it's not made to fold. Obviously, it's different. It's like saying, I take the table and I, crack it off and make it into a stender. Yeah, but that's a shot. It's bent and it's, If I do that to your finger, you wouldn't be so happy. I mean, it's something here. I don't know. Okay, let me think about it. I have to digest it. It sounds pretty nasty. It sounds pretty nasty. Okay, so you get the point, Rabbi side. This is very Magid Batish is okay. That's that. Now, Lemaisa, just a thought. It's a thought. This is not, it's not mechayiv. It's a thought. Isn't that there's something here which, the question is in halacha, do you have to be mesiachis? There's a certain feeling, I think, that everybody in this room has that when you say certain of the cases, the Magid Batish, it's like, really? That's Magid Batish? And it's like, well, one of the examples by me, which is the most, is the bekisha with the belt. It has, those like stringy loops. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, like the tish bekisha. It's got like these stringy loops. And, it's not what I was looking at the other day. It's got like a stringy loop and you take the belt and you put it into there. And then we're saying that if you put it in there the first time, so then that's Magid Batish. You put it in a second time, it's mutter, right? But to put it in the first time, it's Magid Batish. And the Chayetz is the first Mishnah, right? That's what the Mishnah is saying. He's saying by the Avnei, by the Gartel of the Mechnasayim. So Mishnah says the only reason why it's mutter is because it's not going to remain there. But the obvious implication, the Mishnah is if it would remain there, that would be a problem. Kavachayim is something that's the Ashlam of the Tzura. This is the example we gave, and it is Aser. It's Aser. I wouldn't do it for the first time on Shabbos. I would imagine most people wouldn't realize this, but I'm going to say something now. I don't mean to leave it schos. I'm going to say a thought. I don't think anyone should do it. I just want you to understand that there's a thought here, which how to go with this thought, I'm not 100% sure. In other words, the whole Magid Batish that we're discussing over here is trying to see when we have two things, do they have a oneness to them? Okay. What happens if I have something that when you look at this thing, it'll always be two things. You're always going to see this as two things that have converged together to work together, that we call a shimush. And that's what we're always trying to figure out, what's called two things and what's called one thing. Maybe somebody extremely brave will say this is chalik from the case of the Mishabur. The Mishabur is talking about, let's say I have a regular winter coat, a regular wool coat or something like that. It's got the coat itself, it has the loops itself that are much more adjacent to the coat themselves. And the hashlam of the tzura is that coat belt. Now this is the belt. You look at it as one big belt. You look at it like that. Here, there's something here which bothers me. I'm gonna, listen, Rabbi say, my therapist say it's important for me to get these things off my chest. And I want you to, feel my feelings. These are my feelings. There's something here which just, I don't buy it. There's something here which I don't buy. That, you have the stringy type of loop and you have that belt. It's true, there's a shlama satsur over here. But I think anybody looks at this bekisha, they see over here the bekisha in the belt. Because it's stringy and because it's such an incredible ease to get it in there, it's not doing necessarily to the case of I don't know where to draw the line. I just want you to know this thought. We might be able to use it somewhere else. In other words, when you have a belt that's a part of the pants, your boggle boy pants that you keep on talking about, right? Or the a belt on a coat, or sometimes a lady has a dress that has a belt which is mamish yuchid for the tzura, etc. There's something there. Here, it's with such, it just like hangs there. It just hangs there and it's in the loops. Maybe it inherently remains always as two. Maybe it inherently just remains as two. I'm scared to say this far. I must admit, I'm too scared to say this far. I just want you to know that it's a chiddush in the sugya. It's a chiddush that you didn't necessarily see in the Mishnah Berurah. And every case that we saw in the Mishnah Berurah, that we understand once it comes together, they became a oneness. Let me show you where I'm going over here. Let's go to the other extreme in a minute. I told you the other day that to take insoles and put them in the shoe is a problem. To put the insoles into the shoe, we explained that that's a bayah. Okay, especially if it's insoles that your person has problems with his feet for the first time, obviously only for the first time, And then I gave all examples that he puts like in his hat, he puts the little cushion loch into the hat or something, because now it becomes this bottle to the hat. Again, I'm not 100% convinced, right? Read me. There's a Mishnah Berurah in Siman Shin Gimel over there. Where was it? I wrote it down. Mishnah Berurah is in Shin Gimel. Try Mem Ches. That's what it says here Mem Tes, but I think it's Mem Ches. Over there, Mishnah Berurah is talking about Milchus Shabbos Klapei Otzah. It's not a raya what I'm going to say now, but it's a thought. Mishnah Berurah in Shin Gimel Sivkat Mem Ches. He brings down. He's talking about taking something and putting it into his shoe or his hat. What was he talking about? What? Into the shoes. What's his lashon over there? He says to put tevin in the shoe. What's it say? So he says you can't put the tevin into the shoe. Why? He's nervous over there about Eitzah. What's the whole thing over there? What's he talking about over there? He's worried that bring me. I'll read it. What? He's worried that you're gonna. Where is she? Here. He says. בלבד, ודאס גם יכול להיות דמות ליטין תבן לכתחילה בשבס מן הליים שלנו, אז תום מכל זאת ונוח להחמיא בזה בייס הצורך. Shmuel is talking about all types of things that we chashin and dilma shaklile. Is he going to come to take it out? He's going to start using tevin in the middle of Ocean Parkway, whatever, whole matzav, right? Nobody here is discussing, he's putting it in the first time in the shoe. Okay, so you could say that the case is it's tevin that he's putting in the shoe and then he's going to take it out and he puts in new tevin. I don't know. Does anybody, I never put tevin in my shoe. It doesn't look like it's happening. I don't know. Why doesn't the Mishnah Berurah say, ayin, siman shin? It's a red mizla. I'm not saying that this is a muchach tikadiyik, but it does. If I had to answer, I would say something like this. I would say, maybe we went a little too aggressive with moichin. Maybe we went a little too aggressive. When you're dealing with a shoe, that the shoe is a complete item, and it's completely made. And mitzad the chefts of the shoe is finished. It's a finished product. And mitzad ma'akev b'patesh, we can't dan anymore because we have a finished product in front of us. And v'haraya, they sell it like that. It's manufactured like that. People wear it like that. When they sell it, they don't offer you even to buy the insole, et cetera, et cetera. They sell the shoe. The shoe's a fire to gazach. There's no market for ma'akev b'patesh maybe. I put something in and I'm a vatal there. That is misyaches to the gavra. I said this type of idea the other day, but now I'm saying it a little bit stronger. Just a moment. That's misyaches to the gavra. The shoe is finished. The gavra, right? The gavra, the gavra, the shragi, he has a problem. The shoe doesn't work good on him, right? So you're not fixing the shoe. You're not doing something to the shoe. It's going to remain there. Okay, but it's always going to be misyaches to you. Now, how far do you take this? Maybe you could say more lumdis because haraya, it's only something which is good for me and not for somebody else. So you can't say there's a benefit in the shoe. It doesn't have a benefit in the shoe. It's not something that's misyaches and becomes one with the shoe. So we therefore don't see this as, here's not the same svara that, we see it as two, we see it as one. Therefore it's complete already. It's complete. So once something is complete, we never see this thing as it's more complete. So it's not daima necessarily to the case of moichin. It's not daima to the case of the shoelaces. I'm just saying you might not have a raya. You might not have a raya. And then if that's true, then a lot of the cases we spoke about, you have a hat that you put in. I know that this is definitely a common thing. It's definitely a common thing because a bacher gets a hat. It's a Shabbos hat. It's a very common thing. He wore it Friday night. He realizes it's not so geschmack. It doesn't, it's not so great. And it's mamish a common case. Right? I asked my boys to find out if they agreed. Said, yeah, it's a very common case because Friday night I'll put it on for the first time in Shabbos. He wears it, that's a great. So then he plays around with it, right? So I'll put in all types of zach in there, we'll put in like mask and luxury and everything, and they'll get the right fit, right? And then it's going to remain there. Tissues, look, he just shows us, right? There he is. You got to show them. So you see, when did that happen? It happened on a Friday night, right? It happened on a Friday night. He was playing with his hat. It didn't fit, so he put it inside there. Now it fits. So, that hat is a good hat. Right? You have problems. Yeah, that hat is a good hat. The chefza of the hat is a finished, it's a fighting product. The gavra has issues. It's got a little small head, right, etc. So that's a thought. I want you to know these thoughts. What? Bekish is a different svara. I just wanted you to know both these svaras. But what? It's definitely socially off. I agree, but the finished product is to have these two things together. That's my question. Maybe the finished product. You know what else? It's socially off to walk around wearing a shirt and nothing else. Right? What's up, shot? What's up? Does the shirt become one mit the Unterhosen and the pants and all the Dachen? Nine. It's also socially off to walk around without shoes, right? And without socks, right? In the winter. So what's up, shot? It doesn't mean that therefore the shoe becomes one with the pants, it becomes one with the shirt. You need these two things together for the tzura. So that's not a raya. My socially correct friend, right? Sorry. What doesn't play a role? No, yoifi could play a role. Yoifi could play a role. Yoifi could play a role when I'm gonna, I'm still American citizen. I'm gonna plead the fifth. I don't think I can plead the fifth in halacha, right? But and you guys are English also, right? But no, you don't know what the fifth is. Right? But no, I'm a little bit nervous to answer that question because I don't know what your next question could be, right? And I might find a case. He's asking me that he's being a little bit of an anti-Semite. I'll explain to you what he's doing over here. He's trying to say, if the davar is complete, avada, there's a concept of yoifi, klape makabe patish that we saw by the cup and that. So he's saying, yeah, but that's when it's a mineo bay type of a makabe patish. But when you're dealing with parts, so then if you have one complete part, and it's so complete that the only thing we can misyachas to is as a yoifi, so then it'll remain as a second part. I refuse to take responsibility for that statement because it's not muchach. I'm not saying that the reason why the belt is not mahava chelik is because it's only yoifi. I'm saying because by the belt, it is so much not a part of it. When people see it, they see, the hanging belt, they see the bekach, they see two things, they don't see a oneness. Right? And when it comes to the shoe, there it's a different svar. There the svar is that it's a fartige shoe, it's totally finished, it's a totally complete chefza, and you have some special gavra issues that you have to deal with. Sorry? He's not improving the item. The item is finished and it's fully improved. Sorry? No, the item is a finished item, and the fact that they sell it like this, and the fact that people buy it like this, and the fact that no one sees, one moment, and the fact that no one sees it as incomplete, it therefore tells us to be misyaches to the improvement, not as an improvement in the shoe. Fakir, it's not an improvement in the shoe. You ruined the shoe. The shoe is great, right? There's nothing wrong with the shoe, so you're doing extra. You're doing something which is unnecessary, so you're doing for yourself. Who says you're doing something for the shoe? Come again? Obviously, if you go and change it, you start cutting around or something, no, then we could talk because you did something to Minei to the Chefza and you've shown us that this is not the Chefza anymore. But here you agree it's the Chefza and you agree it's a complete Chefza and you want to go and add something to that Chefza, so then you're doing something for you. It doesn't necessarily stel suit to the Chefza. I'm not, I'm a supik about this. I'm being blamitzchus because I think that I would say in all these cases when a person's going to have the shayla, it should probably just be machmir, but because you guys know what the shaylas are. A feather in a hat is an interesting shayla. A feather in a hat is an interesting shayla. To put the feather in the hat, it's an interesting shayla. Well, that's an interesting shayla because there it tells to the whole surah of that. They say, this is why I didn't want to answer. This will be the nafkamina. Nafkamina will be that here I have something which is being put in, and it gives a whole different surah to the hat, and there's a oneness in the hat now. The feather in the hat is like, it's like the carrot on the gefilte fish, right? It's like the tzura now. That's the tzura. Well, that's a tzura. That's a tzura. No, you understand what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different tzura when you have a feather. If I could wear it without, but now it became a different tzura, and it's a different type of hat. That has nothing to do with the gavra. See, that's why I didn't want to answer this shayla. Because there's nothing to do with the gavra. That doesn't do with the gavra. There's hats with featherlach, and there's hats with hadishkin featherlach. There's schnitzel that you eat sometimes from the yeshiva with feathers, and there's schnitzel that doesn't have feathers. It's a different chefza. It's not, you understand, that's not gavra based. That's not gavra based. That's why I'd be nervous that there could be, it is a mitzvah to kill you if you put it in. What? No, they leave it in. My Zayda, I think they buried him with it. I mean, what? Come again? No, he wanted to know, is it done? No. You're trying to explain it to an Englishman. Let's not, don't go there. Thank you. All right, let me get. This was all extra. My contract's not mechayiv me to even discuss this. I just wanted you to understand this. Does everybody, Rabbi Ziki, understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Rabbi Shah, you understand what I'm saying? Or no? You guys understand? I think about it. Rabbi Bergman, you understand? I think we want to have a conversation about this. Okay. Right? So let's, right? Let's, Rabbi Mel, you understand what I'm saying? Right? Let's try. I don't know. Now, two things. Somebody asked me a shy like this, interesting shy. Now we got to get to balloons. I haven't forgotten yet. We have to get the blow up things and all these. I haven't forgotten. Somebody asked me a shy like this. He asked me if he's allowed to wear his tzitzis on Shabbos. There was like some evil brisker or chumrah or something, like some weird thing. All these guys, they come to Eretz Yisrael, they grow their parents very large and they stop wearing tzitzis. They call themselves briskers and whatever. So he said to me, maybe he should stop wearing his tzitzis on Shabbos. Why should he stop wearing his tzitzis on Shabbos? So he told me that he heard me give a shiur on tzitzis and whatever. And then I was talking about pulling the string. He became a little bit OCD about it. He saw the whole time with the string going like this, the whole time, like that. He's doing to other people's tzitzis. That's how it goes. So he said to me, so maybe, so I started thinking, wait, forget him a minute. Him we have to deal with, and, we sent him to the proper professional. But what about us, regular people, It's definitely a normal thing to take your tzitzis and go like this, right? So why isn't there a Shema Yikshor? Our sugya is a Shema Yikshor. Our sugya has a Shema Yikshor, things that you tie knots. So why shouldn't there be a Shema Yikshor? It's certainly making a tight knot, and even if you'll say it's not loyal because it comes out, but it's certainly aser, right? Sorry? Oh, so you see from here, you say that kanira. I mean, I never heard of this chumrah, and I don't believe this is why the briskers were machmir on not wearing tzitzis or whatever. But you see from here, klape what we spoke about, and you'll see why I'm gonna use this in a moment. We're gonna get to blow up stuff, and we're gonna use this in a moment. It could be that there's absolutely no Shema Yikshor. The only Shema Yikshor is like I mentioned, that when you're doing something, you're building something, you're doing something of a building nature. You're building something, you're putting something together, etc. So then the last step of that building is a Yikshor. So then we say, don't do this, because then you'll do that. That's the finished. Putting on your tzitzis is not building anything. It's a side by side. We don't have a makor for Shema Yikshor. Elamai, don't do Chilul Shabbos. Okay, you also shouldn't turn on lights when you come into a room. That's l'chayra. Okay, that's number one. We'll see why I'm being so emphatic about this in a moment. Yeah, God, I could think of a case, during this Corona period where you have to keep everybody busy, right? So we have this like bead game, right, with 300 million beads, in different colors and different this and different that, right? And then it has all different strings and all different beads and whatever, right? And this is what I play with, right? It's not for the kids. I'm saying, it's a geshmak and it keeps you busy and it's a good pastime. So what happens on Shabbos? You're allowed to play this on Shabbos. But the normal thing, what you do with beads afterward is you go and, you tie a knot. Now, there might be other problems of putting beads together. There might be an abundance of maybe Mahamr and all types of zachin, right? And it's not such a practical game to play with if you're not going to tie it anyways, so not such a practical game. No, but the nafkamina be is that if one of the little girls is playing with it and then she just says, no, I'm not going to tie it. I'm just going to like make it. And then, afterward I'll tie it. And whatever says, that's a problem with Shema Yikshor. That would be a good example of Shema Yikshor. You're making something. What? Licorice and Cheerios. Licorice and Cheerios. Licorice and Cheerios. No, because if you tie it, it'll. What? It's coming out? I'm not sure if it's like a Gabi Lach. The licorice can mamish last, no? I'm not sure. What? And that could be a problem. Licorice and Cheerios. Huh? Here? No, but that is Shema Yikshor, he's saying. You might come to not. Might come to make it not. Okay. What? That's interesting. Okay, let's get to business. Okay? Yeah, Derek Hagav, Rabbi say. Derek Hagav, Rabbi say. Floating wicks. Rabbi say. Floating wicks. You guys know what floating wicks are, right? The wicks that float, right? So they sell now the floating wicks ready made. So that's unbelievable. They're interesting. Okay, I guess because everybody's busy with learning, so there's no time even to make the wicks. So the Maisa, but the real reason they did it is because to l'chayra make those on Yontif, what are you doing? You're taking a wick and you're giving her a like a floaty, and then you throw her into the garden, throw her into the oil over there. And l'chayra, it's a one-time usage. The two of them, they come together, they make a certain surah. Okay, and l'chayra, that's a makiv pantish. It's a makiv pantish. No, I mean the Mishabur's example of Tavkuf Yadal is if you take a piece of cotton, whatever, and you spin it into a wick, that's an issa deraisa of a makkah b'patish that you made a wick on a one time. So what's the difference if I have the wick and now I give her, somewhere to float on? What do you say? What do you say? Sorry. No, the difference between the metal piece, asking why is that different than the metal piece that you put it into? Right? But that's not a raya because there it's for sure going to come out because you're going to put the next wick into the metal piece. But here it's going to remain like that. It sounds like it's also, no? It's also, it's a mamish problem. And that's why, Baruch Hashem, they went and they made these special floating wicks that you don't have to put together before Shabbos and they're already made. I don't know. It's a good thing to know. That's a good thing to know. This is now sorry? Come again? Okay. Come again? Oh yeah, on Shabbos you shouldn't be lighting wicks anyways, because that's a var. Oh, you mean because no, it's not. What even let's say it's on Yontif. Yontif also all these halachas apply to Yontif too. Yontif itself, it's not Yontif. He lights on Yontif. Some people light Yontif. You light on Yontif also, no? You light before? It's Friday night before Yontif. Him, he's the guy who made the whole. Like upon him. So everybody's like, let's get to business. This is the last part of this again. Then I guess we can start watches and Mitzvah Shem, but we got to start muktzah already because you guys are, that's what you came for is muktzah, right? So but we still have to let's finish up this chalik. This is the last chalik. Is the blow up products. Now you have time to think about it a little bit. We have all different products. We have balloons. We have beach balls. We have couches. Thank you. Right. We have mattresses, we have football, basketballs, bicycles, regular balloons, all different products, right? And we have to try and figure out, is there something, so there's different svaras that are being floating around over here. So one svara is that, well, you have here this thing for the first time. I'll categorize in a moment, but let's just don air for first. Let's just talk about air and how air is misyaches to products, etc. So when I have air and I take the air and I put it inside the product, I have a product which was not usable to this point. It was also those baby pools. Those are also blowing up, and all these stuff. So the kids, here I am. I have this thing right now. You can't use it at all. Right now you can't use it at all. Okay, so I put it in the air. So I saw one sefer. He says, air is ein by mamish. Air is ein by mamish, right? Okay. So what? So say about mamish. Okay? So what? We're dealing with market patish. We're dealing with, did I have something that was a usable kli? No. Did I do something to it that made it usable? When I take a piece of metal and I bend it, or I take your fork issue and you take it and you bend it into this, aim by mamish, it was all there, everything was there, and I just bend it there. So this is svara aim, but you have to be careful. In halacha, you have to be Makkah patish is extremely unique malacha. It's kamat that everything in Makkah patish is trying to go into the deeper understanding of how you look at kalim and how you look at items and how you look at finished products and whatnot. It requires you to think deeper. I don't care that something is aimed by mamish. There's no name calling over here. Right? It's not a presidential debate. So you call it aimed by mamish. So what? It's aimed by mamish. Could I use this item till now? This basketball, was I able to use it till now? No. Could I use it now? Yes. That's far as out. No, I'm trying to. I saw one sefer. He has all these different, it's a Truva sefer that makes sirufim. He wants to be makel on a certain thing. And he throws in all these svaras, a lot of different svaras. Some of them are just batal and mavutal. And you have to know that because, when sometimes you see so many svaras, you get overwhelmed, There's a ma'aser with the Noda B'Yehuda and his mechutin. It's a whole story over there. I don't want to go into it. Rabbi Yehuda and his mechutin had a very big machlekes about a get that was given by korchach ayidei shliach. Tutzach ganze ma'isa. Reuven came. He took a get, put it into the hand of his shliach. He said, "Here, go divorce her, bal korchach." Right? They took her and put it in her hand. Right? So then there's a little shaila between him and his mechutin, the hamburger. That's a story over there. Chuvas and the ayin vav and ayin tayin and ches. That's all back and forth chuvas. If we say ein shliach advar avera knocks out the whole entire shlichus. Or ancient Shlichut Avera makes it if Shlichus wasn't Chal, or whatever, got some ice over there. So here it's Avera because we're in the Gersh, whatever. Okay, so he has, this is the word, learn from me now how not to talk to a Mechutin. So he has there, his Mechutin wrote to him 13 rayas that he's right. 13 rayas to the Neighbor Yehuda, right? There's the same Neighbor Yehuda, but before you talk to Neighbor Yehuda, you have to know the Neighbor Yehuda was a Malach Hashem Tzedakis. He was. So imagine somebody who was big enough to bring 13 rayas to the Neighbor Yehuda against it. He brought 13 rayas. So the Neighbor Yehuda answers all the rayas, and he says, "Okay, you should know there's one more raya. It's one more raya, and you should know I wasn't going to answer it because it's so bad. It's so bad that I was afraid if I answer it, it's going to make you look ridiculous, and it would be a zilzal in your covet of your Torah." Could you imagine the kids at the Shabbos table that way? Pass the salt. I can imagine. I was a zilz in your Torah, so I wasn't even going to answer it. But what can I do? I have no choice. I have to answer. You know why? Because what do people do? They see this 13 rayas, and I answered only 12. I do this also. That's why I look in Juva's Ram sometimes. I see, he had 13 rayas, and he answered only 12. So they're going to say, not even a lost. The night of you lost, because he had there. So now, and he writes over there, I'm moicha and I'm upset with you that I had to answer this, and it's in your head, and zilzal in your Torah that I had to answer this. That's what he writes over there, So that's what I'm saying. That's why a lot of times you see like this svara, for example, I saw I was oimed mishleimim. It's ein by mamish. Avir is ein by mamish. It's no shaykhs to the sukkah at all. You have something that you couldn't use, and now you could use it. So then, that could be a makib and patish. What's the connection? Okay, but let's go weiter to more aggressive svaras. So, to do it the first time, to blow up these things the first time. And again, I'm going to categorize. Right now, I'm oversimplifying, but let me just, go to the klal. To take air and put it in the first time. Okay, so this didn't have air. You're putting it in the first time. And it's like all the things we spoke about. Moichin, it's like a shoe that didn't have laces. Now you have a basketball. Let's just talk about a basketball, a soccer ball, whatever, football, whatever. So these things, until now, they were unusable products. You put the air in the first time. They became a usable product. It's pretty checkmate on that. I mean, the air is there. It made it into a... What happens now? The air comes out. The air comes out. So now the air comes out. You want to administer new air. So now we can say, wait a minute. I have an item that was already here. I'm just putting it back to the item. It's reassembly. Maybe it's reassembly. Maybe it's just reassembling an item. So the Minchas Yitzchak, they were the trailblazers on this in Chelik Vav, the Chelkes Yankiv, Rabbi, in Chelik Tes, in Kufnan Tes. They say nothing doing. Nothing doing. It's over here. It's not gonna. There's no svaras over here. Reassembly. What are you talking about over here? What shaykhs? It's not reassembly. There's new air. That's how they go. There's new air. So you're putting in new air. There was air here. Now you're putting in different air. So then, if it's different air, being in this room today, you can appreciate different air. Right? So there's different air. So did you understand that football had one air? Now the football has a different air. So therefore, just like my shoe, if it would have one lace, now it has a different lace. It's a whole different picture. And therefore they say it's aser. And they go strong that it's aser. He told me yesterday, Falk, when he spoke to, who told me yesterday? Falk spoke to Minchas Yitzchak in the sukkah. Like we were Zeich all the years that he came to our sukkah to speak. So he spoke by the Minchas Yitzchak sukkah, and that was what the Minchas Yitzchak told him, that there's no question. His thing is beyond the shadow of a doubt. In this to do the second time also. I did not just yet paskin the shaila. I'm just giving concepts now. How we'll categorize is going to change everything. Okay, but so I saw some svarim. They say, well, maybe all the air in the world is one. So it's not like there's new air. It's like the old air. There's no, that's one svar that they say. It's like it's not there's new air, but there's something tangible. Not anybody mamish more. It's like that air was here, and now you're just I don't fully understand what I'm saying now, but. That's an interesting shayla. Who asked me that yesterday? I like that shayla. Who's it, Rabbi Bergman? Who asked me that? What? It was you? That was an interesting shayla. Let's say I have a shoelace, which is in one side of the shoe, and the other, you know how it goes, that shoelaces have two sides, right? So you have one side this way, and then you string it. So now, you take it out, which you're allowed to take out. Now you want to put it back, but you want to put it back on the other side. So she was never in this way. You understand? She was on that side. She was on that side before, right? Now she's on this side. Is that? Same shoe. Same shoe. Is that cool that it's a new creation over here? Sorry? Why is it fine? No, I'm putting back in the lace now. No, this is a very major shaila. Should I tell you why it's a major shaila? Because you'll never know. So then it's always going to be usher, right? You took out the lace, right? So now you want to put it back in because you know the halacha. The halacha is, so I have a raya brura from the Mishnah Brura that it's mutter this. You know why? Because the Mishnah Brura should have warned. He should have warned because it's the most obvious mistake that a person will make. He took out the lace, and now we tell him, Rabbi, you're allowed to put the lace back in the shoe. So somebody should say, whoa, you got to make sure that you knew that this part went into that side and not that, not the other way around. So Kanira, the pshat is that the shidduch was here, and we see it as a reassembly, and Kanira that it's okay even if it's not the same side. It's a chiddush, I'm going to admit it, but it's a raya from the Mishnah Brura. It's a raya shein love tshuva. L'chayr ain't love tshuva. Anybody who would say not like that should really, worry because he can't do tshuva. There's no way to get out of that, I think. But it's a chiddush. It's a chiddush. It's a chiddush. You told me that somebody said not like that. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Right, I take that back. You told me that somebody big said not like that. It was you, Rabbi Bergman, who wasn't. Okay, so he said somebody big said not like that, but it's my tzarechim gadol because it's negative. All the paiskim that ever lived until that Rav said it, l'chayra, because nobody there ever warned about it. It's the most normal thing in the world. You take out the shoe, somebody should tell you. You better make sure you know which way you're putting it back in. Otherwise, it's a suffix. If you don't know, it's a suffix derais l'chumra. So it's beyond the shadow of a doubt. Mutter. Now you only have to figure out why. So I guess you have to say some svara that the shidduch was together already. So we look at it as reassembly. We don't see it as making the first time. Okay, I can hear both ways, but Akapanim, we have a raya from all the paiskim that never even warned about such a thing. Okay, but Akapanim, coming back to our case, so they say maybe all the air in the world is one. Okay, that's far. It's a little bit weird. It's a lot weird. I don't know. The Shabbos in Ches, Samech Ches. So he says like this. He says that, no, you know why? You know why it's mutter? The second time. He says the second time it's mutter. Again, I haven't discussed which cases. Let's talk about basketball. I don't know why, okay? But a beach ball, okay? The second time. He says, you know why the second time? So not because it's the same air. Not because the air that was here is the same air. No, it's different air. He says, but look, what's the whole lumdis of reassembly in general? What's a lumdus of reassembly? Let's talk about our cocktail cups that we all agree are us. Okay, so the cocktail cup, it was made as one. We had here a creation, and now when it's apart, so what is it? It's we see it as just reassembly. The item was created already, so we see it as just putting it back together again. We don't see you as making it. We see that the item is made. It's a shay bashaft, and you're just reassembly. That's the idea. Okay, so he says, look, I blew up the basketball. It worked. It was a working basketball. Okay, that means I was minded the kli, what's called al-maknusa. I was minded the kli on its to work. I finished the product. So we saw here a basketball. So now you undid the air. You took out the air, and the basketball is now, all the air is fizzled out. Okay, but what do we see over here? All we see is a remaking of the item. The item that was here already is already it's being reassembled. So don't say that it's different air. It doesn't matter because his air is not the kud over here, which makes the basketball. The kud over here is that the shape of the basketball already was given a shape. It was given a shape. And we don't look, I'll say it's stronger. We don't look at the air and the ball as two parts coming together. We don't look at it like that. It's not like, we look at a cup and the two parts of the cocktail cup are coming together. So when you have two parts of a cup that are coming together, so then when they're apart, so then we could see it, that ba'atzim, it's two parts of an item that was. So with your lamdish aikin, with your lamdish, eyes, you're able to see here the kli that was made and it's in parts. So therefore you don't see it as a makah b'patish. This is masha'inkin over here. When you have a ball, we don't see, there's no air. Forget the air. It's not the pshat. The air is not the cheftz over here. It's not because of the ein boy mamish. We don't see the air. We see the ball got a shape. So the ball already got a shape. So now what am I doing? I'm going back to that matziv of giving the ball its original shape. So we saw already a shape over here. When you buy a basketball in a box and it comes the first time, that little flimsy thing, right? So now you don't see anything, right? So now I gave it its shape. I saw a ball. Once I saw a ball, I was miming the kli. The kli already was a chalais kli. Now what? Now the air came out. like a folding chair, So I saw it already. It was already made. The kli got its shape. So now I'm going back to that matziv. That's how he explains it. Therefore, he says so. The second time is mutter. That's what he says. Second time is mutter. What? No. Forget the folding chair. That's my marshal. But
it's not. It's not. No one's going to say that basketball is basketball.
No, and two parts of a keli. Let's say the cocktail cup. Right now, it doesn't. Let's say it can't stand on its own, and it's not a kli either, right? Right now, in the matziv, now it's not a kli. So how's that work? The pshat is with the olam d'sha'igin, you're able to see the original kli, and this is the parts of it. So he says, I'm able to see a basketball even without the air. I'm able to see it right now because it once was a basketball.
I'm able to see my shoe with the shoelaces, but it was in the first time.
No, because when it never had it, we never had a completed kli. If the laces were never in the kli, we never had a completed kli. What?
I had a different lace. I had different air.
I had a different. Okay, but fine. So this is a whole new kli. It's a brand new kli.
So you can't make it.
Interesting. Let me think about what you're saying. Give me one moment. It's interesting. I didn't think of that angle. I was thinking a different angle, but that it could be. Give me one moment. It could be a saying a very interesting story. I'm saying you are saying a very interesting story. Let me give me one moment to think about it. But I was thinking maybe a different angle over here. I was thinking maybe it's pum fakert pumped. I was thinking the exact same svara that he says, pum fakert pumped. Maybe the exact same svara. Exact same svara. It's not so much difference. Listen closely. It might be the exact same svara. It's the exact same svara. Taka. Over here, there's no difference between the first time and the second time and the millionth time, etc. Because the only time there's a concept of difference times is when you're dealing with parts. When you're dealing with the parts, so then the pshat is on the first time it was never made, I never had a kli. So for shteitzoch, nothing starts. Without the shoe and the lace coming together, without the two parts of the cocktail cup coming together, nothing starts. I never had a kli. Now, whenever you're dealing with parts is something that has this concept. First time, yes, next time, no. And therefore we see it in its parts because it's called parts. Air, he's right, is not a part. Air is not a part. He's right. 100% right. It's not the pshat that air comes together and makes the tzura of this kli. No, the tzura of the kli is the isser, making a tzura of the kli. But when you're not dealing with parts, so then when you mizvatel the tzura of the kli, so of course it's makib and patish when you start over. Each time it's the exact same situation that you were in the first time. I have a piece of metal, I bend it because the fork is a little bit broken. I bend it back now. Nobody in the world is going to say that that's not makib b'patish because the Mishnah Berurah says that's makib b'patish. When I take a fork that's a little bit bent, I bend it back. So then that's because there is no other item except for the item itself. So therefore, I agree with him. Air and ball do not become one. There's no oneness between the air and the ball. The truth is, I'm saying it a little bit slightly different than what the Menchas Yitzchak said. Menchas Yitzchak said because there's new air. So new air, this air is never a shidduch with this ball. It's not the nekuda. It could be this is what he meant. It's not the nekuda because this air is new air. The air is not the kaveh of air. The tzura of the ball was made. Now the tzura is lost. So that's a fork that the prongs were bent all out of shape, and you're putting the fork prongs back to shape. Over here, it's not negeya. The only time it's negeya to talk about parts is when there are parts. When there's not parts, that's just taking a kli, that the tzura of the kli was nisbatel, and going back to make it to its kli. This is an iser gomer bevadai. Bevadai, pum fakert pum. And the truth is, b'neinu, I don't even understand what the nidin could possibly be, because of the second time of the Minchas Yitzchak. He says, don't forget about tircha. Don't forget about tircha. So like, what case are we talking about? The blow up a basketball? Of course that's a tircha. If that's not a tircha, then what is a tircha? Is it a deraisa because of tircha? We said a machlekes the other day. Right? So now, this is how I see it, but now let's break it down, because we didn't finish yet. Now there's a new svara. What happens if I take water and I put it inside a hot water bottle on Shabbos? I just made a hot water bottle, right? Till now it was a piece of rubber with a little doggy sweater, and now you put inside there hot water, and now you made it into a whole warm matziv over here. So you're taking the water and you're putting it together and you're making it. So I said, what? That's a weird thing to say. Why is that a weird thing to say? Why is it weird? Say it like a lamdin. No. Us? Yeah, because putting water in the cup is not the water is coming to be together with the cup. No, don't start with me. I'll send you back to France. You're not making it into one. The water in the cup is you're putting it in, you're taking it right out. So here you made it 1. Right now if you would take that hot water bottle and put it into, your cozy up there like this, what would happen? Nothing, right? Because right now she's not hot. She's very cold. Sorry? Say it with the svaras of the sugya. What? Oh, so this is like, what we've been talking about, the Tshuva Ashkenazis and whatever. This is not a lasting shidduch. It's not a lasting shidduch. It's not 2 parts that become 1. You're putting in the hot water until she gets cold and you throw her out, right? And they're going to put in more hot water. There's no oneness here. So now we have to, a lot of times that's how it is with the surah of the air. When I take the air and I put it in, like, for example, give me the most example of this, of an air or something that you put in and take out, because a lot of these things are going to be fights. Right? Which one? It says, you're a chutznik. I mean, by the Israelis, they put up the kiddie pool, right? And those things last, right? Until the Einiglach. I remember when ich gewinne Engel. Ja, mein alte Babbe. Yeah. The Schwester from the Chavitzchai. I remember when she made the kiddie pool over here, and I remember we were in this exact kiddie pool. They see patches. When they put it up, you think they're putting in more water? What are you talking? They put up that kiddie pool, and they leave the kiddie pool for the whole entire summer, right? They put the kiddie pool, and then they blow it out, and then they blow it up again, right? That's how it goes. But that's why it's not a good example over here. The beach ball, I'm not sure if it's a great example. The beach ball, you blow up, and then what happens is that you blow her up, and then afterward, she sort of gets a little bit like, a little soft, a little bit mushy, a little bit, and then you have to blow her up again, but you sort of like leave it in. You understand what I'm saying? You sort of like, what? Come again? Is there any example which is 100%? I'll go through all the cases in a moment. Which? The Pesach pillow? The Pesach pillow, because you mean for the Seder. The Seder. Fancy guy. Pesach pillow. Fancy guy. Fancy guy. I don't have a Pesach. Give me something normal that everybody will agree to.
A travel pillow.
It's true. A travel pillow is a good example of this. Yeah, travel pillow is a good example. It's just that usually you're not traveling on Shabbos. That's such a great. You are? The mattress also, we'll see soon. It's not so soon. The mattress is probably the best example of this, right? Because the reason you have that mattress is for such a situation that nobody really leaves it up for a long time. I think the mattress is probably, of all the examples, the one which you do leave up except in my case maybe, but that's the one that you leave up probably the least. It's like for like an overnight camping type of thing. The Bochum, they go on, they go to Uma, not Uma, what's the place there, Shin Bayachai and whatever, and you go to Meron and whatever. So they have all these things. So they bring this blow-up pillow, and there for sure you have to fold her back up afterward, because what are you going to do? And, that's the whole point, that you can go and travel with such a thing. So the Maisa, let's go tachlis. I broke it down to all these cases. I found in the Rav Po'alim in the 25th Siman. Rav Po'alim talks about a bicycle, and he says, with driving a bicycle on Shabbos, and if it's an Erev, no, okay. He says, but you got to make sure never to blow up the tires on Shabbos. That's interesting. What's he talking about there? You can be medayik, maybe means even to add air is a problem. What's he talking about? He's talking about that. I don't know what's going on in Izmir, but the air was totally out of the tire. It sounds like, any air addition could be an issue, which we could hear, because it certainly is fabessering it, it's certainly making it more usable. The tire, imagine trying to drive a bike when it's like, it needs the air to be pumped up, right? Come again? Yeah, you think so? I don't know. I was thinking maybe, I don't know, later. I don't know, but I think anyways in Svara, I think it's right, as it is. But Akaban, we at least have this, the first makor to the blow up items, So one thing we'll all agree to, let's convey a masmerim here. Let's make official over here, okay? To blow up a bicycle tire on Shabbos, okay, that's for sure also, okay? To blow up a basketball, soccer ball, football, any of these things on Shabbos, it's beyond the shadow of a doubt. It's usher. First time, second time, is the second time also the daiti it's in this deraisa, either because of tikkun mana or because Tareach might be tikkun mana. It's no question in the world that's in this deraisa. I saw that in the Shmir Shabbos in Tes Zayin Zayin, when he's talking about a soccer ball, I don't understand it. He says you're not allowed to blow it up because Shema Yikshor. Like that? I don't know. So I don't know what. What? He's talking about, I know balloons is going to be a Shiloh myth, but he's talking about I don't know, Tzarech and Gadol. That's what he writes there. I read it in the new version to see maybe change it later. I don't know. Something's interesting there. He obviously doesn't mean a sakabah. To blow it up the first time, the second time is beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's going to be an issur. Some people, they have these seats that they blow up. You know what I'm talking about? Right? You know what I'm talking about? Now you know what I'm talking about? Still not. Some people not, right? They have these like seats. They blow them up. Why they blow them up? Because the evil roids. Right? Okay. So these things you blow up, how often do you blow them up for, you know? That's he's praying to Hashem. It's going to be a short-lived seed, you know. It's not something you keep around. Maybe that's a good example of something that. No, but the point is like this. Rabbi say, the point is like this. These things, I might be able to blow them up the first time if it's something that the air is vada going to come out. Let's say you'll tell me that the air, vada, you're blowing up this mattress and you know you're going to take out the air. No question, you're taking out the air. Let's say the mattress would be an example of something that you for sure take out the air. I'm not 100% convinced about any case, but let's say you're for sure taking out the air. So now that would be there for mutter to blow it up the first time, right? Right? Why not? The belt I'm allowed to put in the first time because it doesn't become one. So I can blow it up the first time, right? Right?
But you can't.
Right? I'll give you a hint if I keep saying right, you know, come on. No, right?
But you're not using it without the air.
So what? So it's like the belt also. It's like the belt with the pants. That's what Mishnah Berurah told me. Even the first time I could put the belt in because it's not in his battle there. Tircha. I don't understand why it should be. So if you learn tircha is an expression of no makeh b'patesh, so then of course it's not makeh b'patesh because it doesn't become one. But if you learn like the Magen Avraham that tircha is what? Tircha is tircha. Tircha is tircha. So then these things are groise tircha loch. It's a groise tircha to sit there with the palm. Those are groise tircha. What? So then it's also the first time, it's also the second time, it's also the 30th time. So I'm very nervous about these characters. You know, the basketball is zichras, these things, the mattress is huge, right? And so who says that's not a tircha? It's at least a tircha. What? That remains, right? She remains. That's pretty bad. I don't know, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that would be pretty bad because she remains. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty bad. Maybe the air is not such a tircha. You're saying, yeah, that could be. I mean, what happens if there was air already there and now you want to add, so the air was already there, so it's not the first time, but I'm not sure. It's not the first time and you have a tsura of a chair. You're just adding to make it a little bit better. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm nervous a little bit about that. You're bettering it because there's a reason you're adding air, right? Oh. She's complaining, Tati, you know, you try and sit on this, right? You know, I don't know. Just give me one moment. I'm sorry. I don't know how the Orchid Shabbos answers that kasha. Why isn't there tircha when it comes to the second time in all these products? Or even the first time, I don't know. Maybe they're learning that physical tircha is not the tircha we're talking about. It's a weird thing. What? Makom mitzvah, we said tircha, but that's all of you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, that could be. The nafkamina of mattress, he's right. Nafkamina of mattress, Rabbi Lieberman saying, is the first time, since the air is not going to remain. So then the only issur we're dealing with is not makeh b'patesh. The only issur we're dealing with is tircha. So tircha b'makom orchem and things like that. We do have Kallus for it. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. And that would be a good nafkamina of everything that we spoke about. Kiddie pools. I told you it's a bad example. Also, I mean, you know, we're not really playing kiddie pools on Shabbos that often, right? But that's a bad example. In Eretz Yisrael, they keep them up, and I don't know. Maybe you have to look at the society you're in and not your derech. That's a difficult child in general. You know, how do we convey these things, right? Now, there's one last thing. Sorry. You might hit it on the nose. You know, so some of us still remember. You know, you blow up the balloon, and then you hold it like this, right? And then you tell the guy, hey, just hold this minute, or other things, all different games. So now you blow up balloons and you just let them fly. Right? So is that also to do on Shabbos? Is that also to do? So who said what? So Rabbi English says it's a Shema Yikshor. It's a Shema Yikshor. I'm not, I saw a swerm that say like you, Rabbi Engelstein. They want to say that it's a Shema Yikshor. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Achmein, Rabbi say, Shema Yikshor is when I'm doing something and I'm trying to put it together and I want there to be a together. Here, I'm blowing up the balloon with the das that what? Okay, mitad the air, it's not a problem because it's not going to remain, right? Zikr not a makeh b'patish over here. You're not giving it a tzura that's a remaining tzura of the zikr nesh. Just a moment. But, so now he's asking, Kape Shema Yikshor. Slow. No, slow. Kape Shema Yikshor, if my, no, listen to Rabbi Yaddik, I'm answering this question, Mamash. Kape Shema Yikshor, when I want the product, right? Then we're going to say your das isn't going to make a difference if you're going to maybe make an aniva or you're going to do this. That we're not going to care about. When you want the together. Here, though, I don't want it to be together. Bichlal. Oh, because you don't even know what I'm talking about. The Americans, they take a balloon. Yeah, but you should know Shtendelach. No? You did. That's where it's going. Okay. I'll explain. You blow up the balloon, right? And then you take it and you just let go. It flies all over the place. It goes everywhere. Very geschmack. Right? Don't do it in the middle of Hagbah. It's a very geschmack. Right? So the Kai Govna, his lehedja is not putting it in there to come together. That kind of das I will care about. What kind of das do I don't care about? I don't care about if you're going to tie it together and you say, I'm from Yid. I would never tie a knot. but you're coming to put it together. Let's say by the case of the beads. You're coming to put it together and you bet and want a necklace. You can say, I'm not going to put a knot. I'm going to make a knot bar knot. I'm going to make an aniva. I'm going to this, that. Then we're not going to misyaches to you because chazam you're going to forget yourself, this, that, because you're coming to put it together. But if I'm not coming to put her together, I'm coming to just blow it up and let her just fly around the room. So then, that you have no right. This is Shem B'Yikshor. I'm not convinced. I would think that it's mutter. Rafal didn't like it for a different reason. He didn't like it because he was afraid it was going to explode and it would be a Zilzal Shabbos. That's what he told us in the Sukkah. He told us in the Sukkah that it would be a Zilzal Shabbos because he brought a raya from a Shin Lamed Zayin that when things could pop and make loud noises and whatever. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, he talks in the Jew. No, that's already chidushim. I'm saying that's chidushim. So computer one, we come out with the basketballs on Shabbos, floating wicks, making them for the first time is not permitted. What else did we talk about? To blow up the mattress for a makkah mitzvah we could talk about. To blow up I think it's called a bucky. No, the ones that you put around the neck. Is that what they're called? I think it's called a bucky. Maybe that's like, you put them around your neck. You blow that thing up. So that you have to know is that you're still going to have a tircha. It's a tircha. Could be even if you decide to take it out. These things are very problematic. And sometimes these things are going to be mamish, issa deraisa, mamish, even the second time and the third time. Because what's the difference the second time, third time is also a shlum of a kli. And I'm not, no, I don't like it. I gave you little svaralach to explain why the belt on the bekasha might not be yasser, but I don't know. I wouldn't pass it based on it. The insoles in the shoe. Also, we said as far as why such a thing could be mutter. What else did we talk about today? Anything else? Tzitzis, you're allowed to wear tzitzis on Shabbos. And it's not called doing a maisa. The balloons, you're allowed to blow up the balloon and let her fly around the room. I don't have a problem with that. What? The feather net was the third problem. Shtikobaya. What? They make noise. That could be Ashma's call. What do they do? They have all like drushes and everything. What? Okay, so tomorrow we start watches. You guys already got my Mekoimis. I think it's Siman Shin Lamed Ches. Whoever doesn't have a kavutza, come to me now. I want to deal with you. You need to be dealt with once and for all. Okay, let me say goodbye to these guys. What? Airplane plane to make a one-time thing is for sure a problem. Oh, it depends.